And so it begins. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
This is the start of the 2019 edition of the Gauntlet of Garbage, the series of videos that we do every single year where we go back and we look at all the films that people call the worst movies of the previous year, all in the lead up to our personal top 10 worst movies of the year list. Now before we get into this, I'm going to be starting every single video like this for the next couple of weeks until everyone knows about this. But we do now have a Patreon, so you can go to patreon.com/ProfessorThorgy if you want to support the channel. Just had to get that out of the way right now. Every single month we're going to make a video that's just for the patrons about whatever they want me to talk about. So there, that's done, out of the way. Is there anything else I can talk about before we have to talk about Winchester? Oh man, I didn't have high expectations for this one, but it even went below that. This thing came out early last year, so I had a whole year of hearing people talk about how crappy this was. It was still worse than what everybody led me to believe. So for anyone who doesn't know, this movie, it's all about the Winchester house, which is an actual location here in America, and it's actually known as the most haunted house in all of America, because it's a house that, I don't want to be blunt about this, but it's a house that was designed by a crazy person, because it was owned by the heiress to the Winchester Rifle Company, and she believed that the ghost of everyone that was killed by a Winchester rifle was going to come looking for her, so she kept having this house built upon 24/7, non-stop for as long as she lived, in order to have one new room built upon another new room based upon her own ideas of how basically to trap these ghosts. Not even really trap them, but keep them confused so they couldn't find her.
Yeah.
And because of that, this is a house where you've got staircases that lead into nothing. You've got hallways that go nowhere. You've got doors that you open up and there's just a fall to your death. Like, nothing beyond there. You just open it up and you're falling now 3 stories. It's not up to code, to say the least. And this is actually one of the most fascinating haunted houses in America. I'm not saying it's actually haunted, but
just the history behind it is very fascinating.
The house was literally designed to be insane because the owner of it thought ghosts were coming for her. So it feels like this is something someone should have made a movie about long ago. This feels like a slam dunk for a horror film. And this is one of the most boring-ass horror films I have seen in years. We kept falling above... Okay, asterisk. I thought I kept falling asleep during this film. But every single time that I would be like... I would look up and I'd be confused at what was happening. It's like, oh, fuck, we gotta rewind. All right, rewind. And then I'd be like, wait, no, I didn't sleep. I didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss anything. It's just, very badly paced.
Yes. It feels like we are constantly jumping from one moment in time to the next because this film just doesn't know how to lead smoothly from one scene to the next. It feels like this movie is, missing half of the first act and half of the second act, but it has all of the third act. But the third act means nothing because, the first 2 acts are just kind of shred confetti.
Yeah, there's no build-up. It's
none at all. Again, I kept looking at this it really feels like I missed a ton of scenes in here. Because it's just moving through this thing so quickly. And yet, even though it's moving through this so quickly, there came a moment where, like I said, I thought that we had missed something, so I hit rewind. We still had a half of this movie left. I was like, oh dear God, I thought we were almost done. Oh, crap. So it's a movie that feels like it's moving way too fast, and yet it still feels like it's here for too long at the same time.
Yeah.
So what this movie is about is it's about this guy who he is a therapist, psychiatrist.
Something like that.
Psychiatrist, I suppose. And years ago, his wife, who had a mental illness of her own, she killed herself with a Winchester rifle. Winchester rifle.
Winchester.
That's the name of the movie. How did I forget that? She killed herself with a Winchester rifle and also shot him with a Winchester rifle, and he died for a couple seconds in there before he came back. And he can't get over this. He's still got the scar. He still has dreams about her. And he even had the bullet he was shot with refurbished, which I didn't even know you could do that with bullets. I thought they were kind of one and dones. But he had it refurbished, and then he had engraved on the casing for it, Together Forever, something like that. So Lady Winchester, she needs someone to come in and diagnose her because the rest of her family or the rest of her estate wants her kicked out. They think that she's insane for building this house, which she was, and they think that if they can get a psychiatrist come in here and declare that she is mentally unsound to head this company, then they'll get the company. So they hire him, and she kind of wanted him to come along because he kind of like was resurrected after being shot by a Winchester rifle.
Therefore, he's connected.
He's connected to it in some way. And he gets to the house, and then there's just Ghost. Like, he rolls up on the house, and it's like, okay, we're starting. And then he gets out, and man, first thing I gotta say, that was a fake-ass house. That house is not real. This is an actual real location, and yet the location that they made for this movie was so fake. Like, he doesn't even look to scale in this thing. Like, he gets out of the coach, and he looks like, I don't know, like all the ceilings are like 2/3 the size of what a normal ceiling would be like. Because he gets out of this thing, and it literally looks like he will have to duck to get inside of it.
It's like, maybe if I make the walls, maybe if I make the ceiling small enough, the ghost will not be able to get through.
Which, by the way, on the Gauntlet of Garbage, we don't save the spoiler stuff for after we give our score. We just go straight into the spoiler stuff. I gotta get into this right now, because this is going to bug the crap out of me. The big twist in this is that she is not trying to hide herself from the vengeful ghost coming for revenge. She's trying to build homes for the ghost. They're wandering aimlessly and they just need a home. So she's building these houses because the ghost are telling her how they want the house to look, how they want to live. So she's basically just creating a foster's home for imaginary friends. For all these vengeful spirits that are coming for him. And like, no, she's actually one of the good people in here.
It's like, I want them to be at peace. I'm sorry they had to take their lives were taken by these horrible machines that are made for killing. I want to make amends with these spirits.
And at the end of this movie, which again, we'll get up to this moment, I gotta get into it right now, because it pissed me off so much. At the end of this movie, like after they have the big climactic showdown with the ghost, she comes out and she's hugging her family, and the psychiatrist is like, what are you going to do now? It's like, I'm going to continue building this house so that way the spirits will have a place to go. And I was like, in real life, she was a person with a mental illness who needed professional help because she thought that she was being chased and tormented by these ghosts, not because she was friends with the ghost and wanted them all to live happily ever after. No, she was deeply disturbed by these imaginary spirits, and several people died making this house. Like, so many people died in the years and years that it took to make this house. And this movie comes in here and treats it like, no, she really is the really nice person, and she was doing this all for good purposes, not just for the living, but also for the spirits. And, oh man, don't you just like her so much? Like, no! I know the actual history of this, you idiots! Oh my god, this is upsetting. Yeah, so I had to get that out because that was bugging the hell out of me so much at the end of this film. Nothing in this movie really made me mad until that moment. But yeah, as we said, he gets here, and like it is the night after he arrives, he met her niece and her little boy, and we get like 5 seconds with them, and then, well, I guess it's more than that. She does lead him around the house like, this is this room, you will do this, you will dress like this, you will do, like giving him all the rules of the house. You are a guest in this house of Lady Winchester. And even though we get a decent chunk of time with her, I feel like we get nothing with her because she has zero personality. She has zero personality and she has zero purpose in this film other than to be the mother of the child who gets possessed, but we see like the child for like none of this film. We see the child possessed more than we see him not possessed. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I have no connection to this kid. Whatever, screw him. I don't care. And they try to make you feel so much for them at the end of this movie. Like, oh no, they could be attacked by these ghosts. And it's like, I forgot they were in this movie.
Yeah, honestly, it's like every time, like, between like the doctor and the lady, and then they come back to them, it's like, oh yeah, they're
you constantly, because like they have negative stage presence. Like they have so much just like a vacuum of interest around them. like whenever they're on screen, it's like basically having like missing no from Pokemon up there. Just like a big series of glitches and numbers up there. Just like, I don't know, whatever. Just like, and then they're gone. It's like, oh, wow, well, that was a weird scene in there. I'm going to completely forget it right now.
It's like looking at those really old-fashioned photos where everyone is not smiling and just sitting
There's
there.
a living embodiment of that.
Yes.
It's like every time that they come on screen, the Men in Black come in right afterwards. And it's like, oh, shoot. Okay, so this is about these two people in this house, right? Lady Winchester and the psychiatrist. No one else. Got it. Like, I seriously feel like I had to have fallen asleep for like a decent chunk of time in here because the boy kind of gets possessed, and then towards the end he's not possessed anymore. And
no, because the ghost that was possessing him was freed or some shit.
I remember something about that. This is a film where I swear, every time that I like kind of dozed off, we rewinded to make sure I didn't miss anything, so I did not miss anything. Many of these scenes I watched twice, and yet, when it got to the point where it's like, and now the ghost is set free, I was like, wait, when? What? What? So the boy is not there? What? Is the boy still alive? Did the boy die? Nope, there's the boy over there. I've forgotten the boy all over again. All right, sure. But yeah, it turns out that the big mean ghost is like was like a general in the Civil War.
Yeah, like basically like he served in the Civil War and like both of his brothers and like his family got shot by the Winchester guns during the Civil War. And there's like, oh, I want revenge, and like basically, like he ended up dying.
Yeah, okay. You don't need to give any more information because this movie has no more information. Like it's literally just that. It's like it's a ghost, was in the Civil War, died from a Winchester rifle, wants revenge. That is the movie, and they filled up an hour and a half with this.
Well, so here's the thing, though, like. Out of all the ghosts that got killed by the Winchester rifle, why is this one the only one who's, like, pissed off?
That was another question I had. Why are all the other ones just like, yes, we'll come and live in your house, just build it the way that we want, even though that makes no sense. And then why do you still have to, like, board up every single one of the ghosts? Like, that was another thing. Every single room that she had for a ghost, they then had to put a board over it and put 13 nails into it to keep them from escaping. But then at the end of this film, you just see all the nails and boards coming off.
I think the big, evil, angry ghost took all the boards and nails off.
Maybe, I guess.
Because that's really the only explanation
That's the only explanation. The only one. Because even still, after you see that scene, she's like, quickly, make sure that you put 13 boards in the door so that the ghost can't escape. It's like, we literally just saw that the ghost can escape when you have 13 boards. None of this means anything in here.
And the best part is, like, once the evil ghost is vanquished, she's like, you can all go back to your rooms now. And then you just see, like, all the doors that were open.
And they all go back.
Yeah, it's just closed. It's like, oh, okay. So, like, what was the point if they didn't even need to be...
If all the ghosts actually want to go into their rooms and just sit there, why do you have to board them up? It makes
Maybe
no
it's like
goddamn
keep
sense.
intruders out or some shit like that. I don't know.
But it didn't. We literally saw... We literally saw the mean ghost open up the doors, but then, like, the mean ghost opens up the door and lets all of them out, and they didn't do, like, okay, at the end, there is the scene where all the ghosts are coming after the niece. I forgot who she was, again, because she has nothing in this film. They're coming after the niece and her son, and they're all kind of, like, just slowly walking at them. But again, it's like, why did they want revenge against her, but not the lady who built the house? Or why, like, because you also see, like, the ghost, like, just occasionally staring at the psychiatrist and they're not doing anything to him. Like, you get no sense of, like, any danger from these ghosts at all. Only from the big mean ghost in there do you get, like, any sense of, like, danger from them. And at the end of this film, I know we're jumping all over the goddamn place on
But
this.
so did this movie, so...
Yeah, I apologize, but at the end of this film... when they have the big showdown with the big mean ghost, he just turned into Magneto.
Yes.
Like, literally. Like, they are in a room. They board up every single exit with 13 nails so that way he can't escape.
But they boarded themselves in. Uh-oh.
Which, here's the thing. We saw him, if that was him opening up the doors for all the other ones, we know that he can pull the 13 nails out. So if they are boarding these up from this side, that means he can pull the nails out again. None of this makes sense. But yeah, he's in the room with them, and he just starts like kind of floating and then like disappearing, but he doesn't do like a ghost like.
Yeah, it doesn't like fade. It's just like poop, just gone like that. Like
he instant transmissions himself.
Like
yeah.
it feels like a video game glitch.
Yeah, it so did. It so did. Like for anybody who watches the Team 4-Star Dragon Ball Abridged things, anytime they have Goku do the instant transmission, they just do the sound effect. It sounds like that because it's just an instant like, boop, he's gone. Like that. But he starts like picking up every gun there and aiming at them at once. And I was like, so he's a supervillain now? Like, this is not scary. This is Magneto. This is literally you just created a supervillain in here. And they try shooting him, but the bullets won't work on him. But there's one bullet that will. The one that killed the psychiatrist and he came back to life from. If he loads that into the gun, it will be able to kill him. Why?
Because there's like a deep connection because he crossed over or some shit. Like basically she explained it, but it was like a really dumb explanation. So
she did not explain it. Like the movie thinks it explained it. The movie says a series of words that you're supposed to accept about how this will work. It's not, we don't, I refuse. I refuse to accept it. I refuse. There is no goddamn reason for why this bullet that he had refurbished that killed him could be the thing that can kill a ghost. It makes zero goddamn sense. At all. Yeah, man, that had me just... I was looking at this thing like, again, it made me keep thinking that we missed things, that we missed scenes in here. But we didn't. We watched many of these scenes twice. Mm-hmm. They just don't make any sense. Yeah, because, again, as I said, to go back to my original point, this thing has like half of a first act because you get introduced to the psychiatrist. You see him go into the house. And then literally that night, like, bam, ghost in your face. And not, like... This movie does not understand subtlety at all with these jump scares. Like, many jump scares, it'll be like, oh, there's a creaking sound. Oh, what's it? Oh, I think I feel something on the back of my neck. It's this thing, he sees sees the mirror that he's, like, fixing himself up in, like, shift over to look at this chair. He turns it. Shifts over again. He turns it. Shifts over again. He turns it, and now there's a face behind there, just, and then that's it. What? And then he goes, oh, geez, what was that? Oh, okay.
No, you were like completely like underacting there, but like.
Yeah, I'm totally underacting it, but.
He was like, crap, what the fuck?
But after that, he then comes back up to the mirror, readjusts it again, and then there's now like that spooky face. It's now some kid in overalls sitting in the chair that
like a zombie kid in a or a ghost kid in the chair that was in.
Yeah, so they literally had 2 jump scares right in a row. It's like you don't do 2 jump scares in a row. It's like the people will get numb to this stuff, and literally every single like scare in here, there's no build up to it. It's they turn a corner, bah, and then the thing is gone. Mm-hmm. And it's like if the thing is just immediately gone, then there's no threat. Jump scares really only work if they get your adrenaline really high and then you keep that ball rolling with like, and now the monster is here. The audience was freaked out by it, and now you hold on to them being freaked out by having the thing constantly be here. Like, you know, you turn the corner, there's a monster there, and now you're running from the monster, it's getting closer, the music is building up, bum, 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 bum. This movie is, Okay, I guess that was nothing there.
This is basically Peekaboo the movie.
Yes! That's what it is, like every single scare in here is just, Now we're fine. All right, I guess that was nothing, audience. Guess we're okay now, audience. Everybody just be chill. Everybody go back to your popcorn. It's gonna be fine. You might want to take your phone out and start doing some texting now, because nothing's gonna happen for a while. Okay, now everything is fine again. Audience, everything is cool. It's like, when everything in here just constantly pops up to scare you, and then it's gone, it gives you this feeling like none of it matters. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, eventually I'm gonna get numb to you jumping out at me every time I turn a corner. And then nothing, so I know that there's nothing to be afraid of after you jump out at me. So who cares? What's the point of any of this? Yeah, I've realized I say that a lot. What's the point of any of this? We should put that on a shirt. Yeah, man, I wish I had more to say about this film, but it literally, once it gets into that second act, it is just a series of jump scares. and then you expect the story to build up, and you get like some backstory on the psychiatrist about how he got shot, and then also the son gets possessed, but as I said, it feels like, okay, so that's going to build into something. No, now the son is not possessed, and the big ghost is here, and he's making everything go crazy. Well, I guess now we're in the third act, apparently. All right, fine. Yeah, man, it's just here and gone. That's it. That's the entire movie. Yeah, this is awfully paced. All the acting is so bland. All the acting in here is well, I'm going to talk very regal so that I might be British, maybe.
Even though this takes place in America?
It's that thing that Americans do when they're trying to do a British accent, but they can't do a British accent, so their idea of a British accent is just talk very professional. Like, that's what everybody is doing in here. It's like, well, I feel... What? I feel nothing for any of you. Especially, like I said, the niece and her son, because they were so flat and so, like, unwilling to show emotions that, like, I really felt nothing for them. And they're constantly gone for huge chunks of this film. So at the end of this thing, when the ghosts are coming for them, which, why? I don't know why they're targeting them.
Because they're related. They're part of the Winchester family.
But you get the sense that they're specifically targeting the son because he was the one that got possessed. Like, that's the feeling that I got from it. I was like, I don't know why that has to do with anything.
Because possessed children are scary.
But he's not possessed anymore. Like, no, this film gives you this sense that, like, he's got, like, a mark on him. He's got, like, a target on him that all the ghosts come for. And it's like, why? Why him? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But yeah, they are coming after them. And then she's like, no, you won't have him. I'm going to stand up to you. And like, this should be the moment where it's like, oh, I'm cheering you on because you're standing up and fighting back. But I know nothing about you. I care nothing about you. You have zero personality. It's literally like I'm watching a separate character who I just got introduced to at this exact second do this. And if I just got introduced to you at this exact second, I don't care what you're doing. So yeah, man, this movie did an awful job of balancing these characters. Of writing these characters, of balancing their screen time, of pacing out the plot, of doing the jump scares. And it's so sad to me that's like, dude, the Winchester house. It's one of the most fascinating, like, spooky landmarks in America. Someone finally made a movie about, and this is what you came up with?
Like, it barely has anything to do with the house itself. Like, that's the...
And also, like I said, for some reason they wanted us to like Lady Winchester's. Like, why? Why do you want us to like Lady Winchester? Are you afraid that her estate will come after you? And be like, how dare you paint her in a negative light? It's like, it's historically a fact that she is in a negative light. Like, she went mad and forced people to work to their death to build a death trap. Yeah, man, we're not going to make this nice. History's on our side. We're totally allowed to just do whatever the fuck we want on this one.
Oh, but then the ghost of Lady Winchester will haunt you, and then you have to build a crazy house to get rid of her.
Just show her this movie and she wouldn't want to come near you. Yeah, man, this movie, I don't understand why they want us to like Lady Winchester. Like, if there is anybody in this story who you could see as being a villain, not a villain. The villain would be, I guess, the ghost coming after her, but that's something that you have to understand about horror films. Not all victims have to be liked. Like, that's what this movie feels like. Okay, well, if the ghosts are coming after them, then we have to root them on. It's like, no, you introduced a psychiatrist in here who was unrelated to any of this, who was forced to go into this creepy-ass haunted house. He's the person that we're supposed to like. We don't have to like Lady Winchester. Lady Winchester could be the creepy lady living in the house who's like, oh, yes, I built this for a reason, and my family has this dark secret, and now you're trapped in here with me. You know, just something like, she's not exactly evil, but she's not making things better. She
could be right, but that doesn't mean
she's the catalyst for the spooky shit in here. It's like, that doesn't mean that you have to like them. That's something, it's just perplexing to me that they want us to root on Lady Winchester building a death trap house. Like, and in real fucking life. Oh, and by the way, we didn't even bring this up. The thing that, like, sets off the big, like, crazy part of this, when, like, everything starts going nuts, like, oh my goodness, the evil ghost, he's now here in the house, oh, he's coming after us. Then there's a massive ass earthquake. And we both thought that, oh man, the ghost is taking control of the house. Like, he's rattling the house around. He's moving the house around. What is he doing with this house? At the end of this, it says, the 1906 earthquake was one of the biggest in California history. And we both went, wait, hold up. That was just that was just an earthquake that just happened to hit at the night when all the crazy-ass haunted shit.
What a coincidence!
It's not like this is a historical thing in 1906, the ghost attacked Lady Winchester on this exact night. It's like, no, all this shit about the ghost attacking is fictional. It's made up. You're making it up just for this movie. Why did you also decide to go, and we're also going to tie that into the 1906 earthquake? What? I'm sorry. Why does this sorry. Man, this movie drove me nuts. It was so frustrating. And can we also point out, the house doesn't even look good.
No.
The one goddamn thing you had to do in a Winchester movie. There came a moment about halfway through, I was like, why does this house just not interest me at all? Like, why is this house so boring to me? And it was about like the third or fourth time that we saw this one particular hallway that suddenly hit me. We never see anyone moving from one room into the next. And that's when it hit me. This entire house is supposed to be a death maze. It's supposed to be like a giant labyrinth. They didn't build a labyrinth. They didn't build like hallways leading into hallways. They didn't build any of the creepy shit that this house is supposed to have. They built one hallway after another, kept them all completely separate. They just built whatever hallway they needed to shoot a scene in. And I was like, but that's not what the Winchester house is not a series of creepy hallways. It's a giant maze. It's a giant labyrinth. It's giant creepy hallways leading into creepy rooms that lead into creepy closets that lead into other creepy hallways. Like, I mean, think about in Evil Dead 2, that scene where Ash is running back into the cabin and he's running from one room into the next and running like in between the walls and it's all like one shot.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that you need in a movie like this. And instead it's just people like, oh, I'm here now. Oh, now I'm
here.
Now I'm in a different room. It's like, how do you fuck that up so bad? And you know what really upsets me is that Sony is getting ready to reboot their Resident Evil franchise. And thank God, because Paul W.S. Anderson, like, fucked that franchise up to hell. There came a moment in which he had to go out to the garden, and I looked at him and went, that kind of reminds me of the garden from Resident Evil 1. No! Don't, like, I know Sony looked at this movie and they were like, hey, this guy, he filmed a creepy house. He could probably film another creepy... No. Do not do that. This movie did not earn that. Dear God. Yeah, I really, like, I went into this, like, it'll probably be like I heard some bad stuff earlier in the year. It'll probably be kind of like a bland and a little bit of a dumb movie. Man, it is amazing how many things they screwed up in this film. Like, how many things they got wrong in this. And I don't even mean, like, factually. Like, just how badly they screwed up Lady Winchester, which, again, I have to repeat myself. This movie ends with them asking you to applaud and cheer on Lady Winchester building a house where people died. God damn, I hated this movie. What do you give it?
I thought we didn't do ratings.
Okay, yeah, I guess we don't do ratings for the Gauntlet of Garbage.
I give this a fuck you.
Yeah. This is bad. This is so bad. Oh my God. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this was everything that you wanted it to be. This was day one of the Gauntlet of Guards. We started the Quest for the Best yesterday. We will be back with the Quest for the Best on Monday, because coming up on the weekend, we're going to do all the numerous top 10s that we're going to start the numerous top 10s that we have for this year. Also, if you like this and you want to keep up to date with us, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/ProfessorThorgy. And also, if you like this and you want to support us for the pain that we're going through, and you want to request that we continue to watch other bad movies, because you can do that on Patreon, go to Patreon, where we will listen to your request and make a video every month for it. Alright, thank you guys very much. Come back next time.
Bye.
I'm going to continue building this nightmare house. Hooray for me, audience. God, this fucking stupid. So stupid. really did not like this.